Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and what we're going to be doing today is actually going over the patch notes for the recent update that came to Black Ops 3. Before we knew that the update had come through, we knew some changes happened to Scorestreaks, but there was no official patch notes from anybody at Treyarch or Activision to let us know exactly what was in that patch. Well, David Vonderhaar, who I am sure you guys are well aware of who he is, but just in case you guys aren't, he is the studio design director over at Treyarch. He's essentially the face of Treyarch. He has actually made a Reddit post, which is really odd that we're getting our information from Reddit, but it's from official sources within Treyarch, so I guess it's legit. And we're actually going to be going over all of the changes that they have made to Black Ops 3 with this recent update, and this is going to include some weapon balancing as well as some score streak balancing. So let's start things off here with the weapons, because I feel as though the weapons in Call of Duty are the bread and butter, right? While score streaks are important, I can't wait to tell you all the changes that they made to score streaks, I feel as though the weapons are the bread and butter, the backbone of Call of Duty, and as a result, we're going to be covering those here in this patch notes video first. And if you guys would like to follow along with the official post over there on Reddit by David Vonderhaar, feel free to click the link at the bottom of the video description. It will take you over there to the patch notes so you guys can read them for yourselves as we cover them here in this video. So starting off here with the assault rifles, you're going to be noticing a trend here. They have reduced the recoil on a lot of weapons with this update. We're going to be starting off here with the KN-44, where they have reduced the recoil. The XR2, they've actually reduced the movement speed on it, but for whatever reason, I don't understand it personally. I always thought the XR2 was just fine, but with the past two patches, they've actually nerfed the XR2 in one way or another. With most recently here, they have nerfed the movement speeds. They're going to be moving a little bit slower while using the XR2 rifle. The HVK-30 reduced recoil, the ICR-1 reduced recoil and reduced hipfire spread. Therefore, you're going to be able to hipfire the ICR-1 a little bit easier, as well as they fixed a rare issue apparently where the reload animation would get all wonky if you're using a certain magazine. He didn't go into specifics here in this post as to which magazine that was. I personally have never ran into that issue, but if that was an issue for some of you guys out there, they have addressed that with the ICR-1. The Man O' War, they've reduced its recoil as well, which that was always kind of the give and trade for the Man O' War, right? The Man O' War was a high damage, low fire rate, high recoil weapon. Even with a foregrip, it still kicked a lot, but now they've reduced its recoil, which is going to make it easier to use, which I have to say that's pretty awesome for me because I personally love using the Man O' War. And to round off the assault rifles, the MA-A7 has actually received a nerf, and that they actually reduced its fire rate, which is pretty interesting because with the last update, they actually buffed up the fire rate of the MA-A7, and now they've nerfed it back. So I would imagine this is going to be kind of pre-patch M8A7, like the same M8A7 that we had when the game initially launched at the beginning of November. So that's probably going to be what they did with that. But of course, I'm going to have to actually try it out because I haven't actually messed around with the M8A7 since this update. Moving swiftly on to submachine guns, the Kuda has gotten a reduction to its recoil, so it's going to be a little bit easier to use in that respect. The VMP has actually gotten a nerf, so they increased the time it takes you to ADS with the VMP while at the same time increasing your hipfire spread. So it's going to take you longer to aim down sights if you want to ADS, and also your accuracy is going to suffer even more while hip firing with the VMP, so therefore the VMP itself has gotten two nerfs without actually directly nerfing its fire rate or its damage or anything like that. They basically made it more difficult to control and manage without directly taking away its fire rate or its damage or anything like that, which is actually a pretty good way to go about things if you ask me. The Weevil submachine gun, they've actually changed around its recoil to make it a little bit easier to control, therefore they've reduced the recoil on the Weevil. They've reduced the lethal range on the Vesper, so if you're one of those people out there that hates dying to the Vesper, I know a lot of people that play Search and Destroy and like competitive Call of Duty just hate the Vesper because it's very good in one-on-one or one-on-two situations. The lethal range of the Vesper has been reduced, and people are going to have to kind of stick to it as more of a close quarters weapon as a result. The Razorback has actually gotten a bit of a buff, which they continuously buff this weapon. Every single update they've given it a different buff because it was like a little bit too powerful during the beta, so during the initial launch of the game, they nerfed it to try and make it so it wasn't as powerful as it was in the beta, but maybe they nerfed it a little bit too much, and they're trying to rectify that with these updates, trying to make it better and better. They've actually increased the lethal range of the Razorback, making it so it's better at a distance, which is kind of the niche of the weapon. It's supposed to be an SMG that's kind of an SMG assault rifle hybrid, while at the same time they've reduced the recoil, which is kind of a trend with this update. They've reduced the recoil on a lot of different weapons here in Black Ops 3 with this update. Moving on down to light machine guns, the Dingo has actually gotten buffed, and this is actually great news for me because I made a video just this week talking about the Dingo and how much I love using that weapon. So what they've done is they've reduced the recoil on it while at the same time making it so the movement speed has been increased. Therefore, we're going to be moving faster while running around with the Dingo, which is actually pretty awesome. And the 48 Dredge has actually gotten a slight nerf by reducing its fire rate. So those are the changes to light machine guns. Moving over to shotguns, the KRM-262, and this is very interesting wording, they have removed 3-hit kill, now guaranteed guaranteed at 2 hits. So no matter what, you can still get your 1-hit kills with the KRM, but from now on, no matter what, and I don't know how they can guarantee this, you will be getting 2-hit kills with the KRM shotgun. At most, it's going to take 2 shots to kill somebody. You'll never get 2 hit markers on one person with a KRM, which I never actually thought that was the issue. The issue for me was always the fact I would get hit markers and then die without being able to get my second shot off. That was always my issue with the KRM, but they have changed around the KRM, so no matter what, it's going to be a 2-hit kill at the most, while at the same time, you still have the ability to get 1-hit kills that, like most pump-action shotguns, allow you to. The 205 Breckley, they've actually increased its lethal range, and the same thing goes for the Haymaker. They've increased the lethal range on both of those shotguns without changing around anything about the Argus. So 3 of the shotguns have actually gotten buffed, if you can call it that, without actually changing around the Argus whatsoever. Now, the sniper rifles, there's nothing about snipers in here whatsoever, which kind of puzzles me. They didn't actually mention anything about sniper rifles in the last update either. While the sniper rifles were changed, they actually didn't give us the notes as to how they were changed, which is weird. They're being very secretive about sniper rifles, but the pistols have actually been updated. Now, this is going to be a universal buff for all the pistols. They've increased the movement speed of them, and I think that is because, if you guys don't know, with the movement speed and how the movement speed works here in Black Ops 3, for the most part, using a submachine gun was actually the best way to move around. Pistols, while they did move around very quickly, they didn't move around as fast as submachine guns. And I think what they did with this is they probably made it so pistols give you 100% movement speed, because if you were like someone like me who just instinctively, if they want to move faster, pulls out his pistol, that was actually putting you at a disadvantage if you were actually using a submachine gun, because you ran slower with your pistol than you would like a Kuda, for example, which was really weird. So all the pistols, including the MR6, the RK5, and the LCAR-9, they've all gotten movement speed increases, which is going to probably buff you up to about 100% movement speed while using a pistol. So that's the only update for the MR6, was the movement speed increase. For the RK5, again, movement speed increase, while at the same time they nerfed its lethal range, so the RK5 got a little bit of a nerf in that respect. And the LCAR-9, they reduced its damage, they reduced its lethal range, and they increased its hipfire spread, and again, they made it so you can move faster while using it. So the LCAR-9 and the RK5 essentially got nerfed, while pistols across the board got a movement speed increase, which is a buff. So that's a bit of a weird change if you ask me, but still, they changed around the pistols a little bit here in Black Ops 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude all of the weapon changes that they have made as part of this recent update. And there's definitely one trend that we noticed with a lot of different weapons, is that they reduced recoil on a ton of guns, which is very unlike Treyarch. Treyarch is kind of known for having a slow time to kill and high recoil with a lot of their weapons, as compared to Infinity Ward, which I think most people would agree is known for low recoil and a very fast time to kill. Treyarch's kind of the opposite, but with this update, they've really taken steps to make it so a lot of the weapons kick a lot less and are a lot easier to manage. And I have to wonder if that's going to be a trend going forward. Are they going to continue to nerf weapons so they have less and less and less recoil? We're definitely going to have to see about that. So Scorestreaks are going to be up next, and they actually changed around a lot of these Scorestreaks. The community as a whole has been calling out for buffs to the Scorestreaks for a while now, and Treyarch has finally delivered, and here are going to be the official patch notes for all of the changes that they have made to these Scorestreaks. The HCXD, the little RC car thing, has actually gotten a buff, and they've increased its explosive damage. So essentially what this means is it's going to be doing a lot more damage, and I've actually seen a lot of reports on Reddit so far, just in the comments of this and in the comments of other threads, saying that Flak Jacket will no longer save you from the HCXD. Now, this is unconfirmed. I don't know this for a fact for myself. It could be confirmed by other people, but for me personally, I don't know this. I've only read this from other people online. I haven't tested it out myself, but as someone that uses Flak Jacket a lot, I can say that typically I survive HCXDs, but after this update, I'm yet to get hit by an HCXD. Now, admittedly, I don't see those things ever. Like, nobody ever uses them, but apparently reports are coming in saying that Flak Jacket will no longer save you from an HCXD. The Dart has received a number of updates as part of this recent patch, which is well deserved if you ask me. I feel as though the Dart was one of the weakest score streaks in the game, and they've taken a number of measures to make it a little bit better, including explosive damage has been increased for collision explosions, so therefore it's going to be doing a little bit more boomy damage. We have some tuning done to the handling, which is going to make it easier to control. We have its minimum speed slightly reduced, and therefore I think it's going to be moving a little bit slower. Therefore, it's going to be easier to control, because that thing was just zipping around so fast, you'd run it into a wall half the time, or at least that was my case. I don't know if you guys were maybe better with the Dart, but for me personally, whenever I would use that thing, I would run it into a wall or a ceiling or just something. I would never actually get to my target. And they also, quote-unquote, fixed an issue where the Dart was not locking onto enemy players. So if you guys actually remember back to the beta, the Dart was actually able to lock onto enemy players. That wasn't the case in a live version of the game, and apparently that was like a glitch. Like, apparently they always intended for you to be able to lock onto enemy players, but it just wasn't allowing you to for whatever reason in the live version of the game. So they fixed that, and now the dart has the ability to lock onto enemy players. Moving over to the Talon, the big score streak that comes to you by default, the AI control damage has been slightly increased. Therefore, if you're not controlling the Talon, it's going to be doing a little bit more damage, because I've always noticed while using the Talon, which I have used it a bit, when I'm using it and like actually controlling it and like going around the map as if it were like a Dragonfire from Black Ops 2, it does a lot of damage. I usually get a good amount of kills. But if I put that thing in AI control, it just doesn't really do much. Now, part of that could be because people are using blind eye and they're not being recognized by the Talon itself. That's definitely a possibility. But at the same time, it just, even when it was shooting at people, they would always have time to get around corners and whatnot, and they would just usually live with it. It was just very weak for whatever reason if it was actually being controlled by the AI. So they've actually taken some measures to make it so the AI does a little bit more damage while controlling the Talon. Moving over to the Mothership, which is crazy. The Mothership itself, man, I've only seen one of them called in by one of my friends, which is the only time, again, I've ever seen a Mothership even come in. But apparently it wasn't very powerful, and they've actually made it a little bit better. They've increased the number of missiles required to destroy it by 2, so now it's going to take a lot longer to shoot down the Mothership, because apparently they would go down a little bit too quickly, because they are giant, right? They're so big, it's hard to miss. Like, you can find those things easily, even if you're playing like on the map Redwood, where it's generally hard to find air support. You'll spot a Mothership on Redwood, I promise you. So they've increased the number of missiles required to destroy it by 2, making it so it's going to be up in the air a little bit longer. The owner turret, which the owner, if you guys don't know, the Mothership can be controlled by a number of people, and the owner is the person to actually call it in. Their turret's explosive damage has been increased, so that's kind of cool. At the same time, the owner rocket turret projectile speed has also been increased. So essentially, they made it so the Mothership doesn't die as quickly, and the actual person that earned it and is controlling it is going to do more damage. Now, the passengers, like the teammates that hop in there and like support you with miniguns, they haven't gotten any buffs, but at the same time, how many buffs they really need? The Mothership is already pretty powerful. Moving down to the Hellstorm missile, they have increased the explosive damage for the cluster bomb, therefore making it so the Hellstorm is a little bit better than what it was. If you guys remember the Hellstorm during the beta, which was amazing, then you look at the Hellstorm during the live version of the game, which was super underwhelming. I'm hoping they found a nice middle ground there to make it so the Hellstorm is at least on the same playing field as the Black Ops 2 version, because the Hellstorm is a very popular kill streak for a lot of people, and the fact that it was so weak here in the live version of Black Ops 3 was really kind of a sad moment for a lot of people, because we all thought the Hellstorm was going to be just as good as it was in Black Ops 2. Turns out they nerfed it a ton between now and the beta version of the game, and they've tried to make some strides to make it a little bit better with this update by increasing the explosive damage from the cluster bomb. The Rolling Thunder, which has been universally panned for being way too inconsistent and way too weak, has received a number of updates. So they've actually increased the explosive radius per drone that is dropped. They've increased the explosive damage per drone that is dropped. They've added 4 new pairs of drones, and they've also increased the health for all of those drones. So if you guys don't know the Rolling Thunder, they don't essentially just kind of like drop bombs. They kind of drop like these drone bomb things essentially, and now there's more of them. They have a bigger range, like a blast radius. They do more damage in that blast radius, as well as they have more health, so they're not going to be as easily shot down and things like that. So it's actually going to be a lot better, and I'm excited to see if the Rolling Thunder is going to become a more consistent score streak, because right now, nobody uses it, just because it just never seems to get kills. It's very inconsistent. It can be easily shot at and avoided. It's just not very good. So with this update, hopefully the Rolling Thunder becomes a bit more viable. The Cerebus, the little Wally robot, has actually gotten a couple of buffs here, so they've increased the missiles required to destroy it by 1, therefore you're not going to be able to take it out as easily, as well as they've increased EMP grenades required to destroy it by 1, so therefore the Cerebus has a little bit of a buff to its survivability. The GI unit, which I'm actually yet to see any of these in the multiplayer, I haven't earned them yet myself, I'm yet to see anybody else actually acquire them in a game that I'm playing in, but they've actually gotten a bit of a buff as well, so they've increased the number of War Machine hits required to destroy it, because apparently War Machines were just destroying it. They have slightly increased its duration, so it's going to be out there a little bit longer, as well as they have slightly decreased the time stunned when hit by EMP grenades. So the GI unit got a little bit of added survivability, while at the same time it's going to be staying out there a little bit longer. The next part of this update is actually pretty interesting for me, because they're 2 of my favorite score streaks. So the UAV and the counter UAV have both gotten a buff to their base health. They have increased the base health of both the UAV and the counter UAV, and I think the reason behind this is they want to make it so if you're going to be shooting down these score streaks, they want to make it so you commit yourself to using a launcher. But whereas before, UAVs and counter UAVs were so weak that somebody could just shoot at them with their gun or maybe even their specialist weapon and just destroy them very, very easily. Whereas now, I think they want to increase the base health of these things, so it takes a long time to take them out with your weapon, and therefore, if you want to start shooting them down, you're going to be more inclined to actually use launchers as compared to just being able to take them out with your weapon. So I think that was the basis behind it, but the UAV is by far my most used kill streak here in Black Ops 3, and the counter UAV is by far my second most used. So I'm happy to see a little buff thrown their way, because as somebody that likes to use nothing but the recon kill streaks, I'm happy that stuff I like to use got a little bit of a buff. The next score streak is going to be the Wraith. They've increased its base health to make it so it stays up in the air a little bit longer, and they've also fixed an issue where the flak drone would not intercept incoming missiles. So apparently that was a little bit of an issue, I suppose, but they have fixed that. I've never personally ran into that, but the Wraith itself ended up getting an increase to its base health, therefore is going to stay up in the air a little bit longer. The Raps has actually gotten an increase to the number of missiles required to destroy the deploy ship by 1. They have increased the health per drone, and they've also increased the explosive damage per drone. So the Raps itself has actually gotten a number of updates here to make it a little bit better. If there's one thing I would like to add to this, which was not part of the update, I just wish it was, they need to, in my opinion, continue to work on the pathing of the Raps little rolling ball things themselves, because they just sometimes just run into walls and stuff, because what they're supposed to be is like a modern attack dog kill streak, essentially, that they drop in from the sky and they come down, they roll around, they explode, they're scary, they make noises, you know, they're cool. It's a cool score streak. I think it's a neat idea, but at the same time, I've seen so many instances where a little Raps ball will just be like ramming into the side of a door. Like, you'll be like trying to go through a doorway, but it can't quite make it into the doorway, so it's just like slamming itself up against the wall next to the doorway, and it's like, come on, man, the door's right there. And I know they have tried to address this in the past, like with the past update, like not this one, but the one before it. They tried to adjust the pathing, like the AI pathing, I suppose, of the Raps score streak a little bit, but apparently it's not quite all the way there. And I think they're going to be continuing to work on that throughout the entirety of the Black Ops 3 lifecycle. And the final update as part of this patch is actually going to be to the lightning strike. They have reduced the time between target selection as well as the time for the payload delivery. So what this means is you're going to be able to call in your lightning strike even faster, and after you're done calling it in and choosing your location, it's actually going to drop out of the sky a lot faster, because that was like the big problem with the lightning strike, was people had way too much time to react. They would hear like enemy lightning strike and they would think to themselves like, okay, well, I probably have enough time to finish capturing this flag and then get inside to safety, because it took so long for the lightning strike to actually come down. And now they made it so it just works a little bit faster, therefore giving it a buff. I'm happy to see like some old school score streaks, like the UAV has gotten a buff, the Hellstorm missile has gotten a buff, the lightning strike has gotten a buff. Like all these things I used to love using back in Black Ops 2 have gotten a buff, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing around with them, especially with double XP coming this weekend, because if you guys are unaware, maybe you're living under a rock, haven't heard about this yet, double XP is coming to Black Ops 3 this weekend. It is going to be starting on Friday, December 11th, and it's going to be ending on Monday, December 14th. And also, they're going to be giving us a Nuketown 24/7 playlist as part of that update, which is pretty awesome. So right now, Chaos Mosh Pit essentially is Nuketown 24/7. It's the only map people ever vote for, and they've kind of just said, okay, well, heck with it. We'll give you a full-on Nuketown playlist. And I have to wonder, are they going to be removing Nuketown from Chaos Mosh Pit and just keeping the Nuketown 24/7 playlist? Like, is that what they're going to do? I don't know, but we're going to have to see, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, Nuketown 24/7 is coming back. Double XP is going to be starting up tomorrow, and I am definitely looking forward to playing with that, because Double XP is so much fun. I got to gather up the crew. We're all going to hop on there and just play Call of Duty all weekend, and it sounds like a blast. I definitely can't wait. I can't wait to actually mess around with all the stuff that came as a part of this update as well. Like, I'm excited to see in Nuketown 24/7 what it's going to be like to run UAV and then like a Hellstorm and a lightning strike. Like, how's that going to be rocking? I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty good time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude this video. It's definitely a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it takes a long time to read through all these patch notes, because it was definitely a major update, and apparently more updates are going to be coming here within the very near future. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I love you, Vonderhard, and I love you, Treyarch, for all your continued support of Black Ops 3. You're definitely making this one of the best Call of Duty games ever. It has been so much fun, such a great experience so far, and it just comes from a great developer. That's the beauty of Treyarch, man. They are just one of the best developers in the business, and they are really working to make Black Ops 3 the best Call of Duty game they could possibly be. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I hope you guys all found it helpful and informative, and if you did, drop me a like rating. It helps the video grow, and it helps my channel grow as well. And let us know in the comments, what else would you change about Black Ops 3? Like, everything that we talked about in this video, keeping that in mind, what else would you change about Black Ops 3? Are there certain things in the game that you think need buffs, certain things that you may think need nerfed, be it weapons or score streaks or specialist abilities? Like, what is it about the game that you would change? Let us know about that in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Full metal everything.